Hello, grade 6. This is Mrs. Height. Today we are going to do our second lesson on solving equations. This lesson is on page 77 and 78 in your Jump Math book. Before we begin, I'd just like to review our learning target. Today our learning target is, I can undo an operation to solve for a variable. And here is a review from yesterday. Yesterday we talked about inverses. Inverses undo each other. We know that addition cancels subtraction and vice versa. We can think of addition and subtraction as opposites of each other. Another way of saying opposites is inverses. Multiplication can cancel division, and division can cancel multiplication. They are inverses of each other. I would like you to turn to page 77 in your Jump Math 6.2. We are going to be going through some questions together. Please make sure you watch the whole video because I will be crossing out some questions that you do not need to do. Let's start with question 1A. The question says, write the number that makes the equation true. Remember, an equation is a math sentence that contains an equal sign. So I'm going to write this a little bit bigger for us. 8 plus 4 minus something. This is our unknown that we're trying to find, equals 8. All right, well, we know 8 plus 4 equals 12. What must we take away to get back to 8? Well, we started with 8. We would like to finish with 8. So if we added 4, we need to undo that. So we need to subtract 4 to get back to our original number, 8. So the answer for 1A is 4. Let's try one more together. You'll notice that the beginning number and our final number are always the same for question 1. So 8 times 3 divided by something will get us back to 8. So if we start with 8, if we multiply by 3, then we can apply the inverse of multiplication to get back to our original number. So 8 times 3. Let's undo times 3. So we are going to divide by 3 to get back to 8. If we think about that a little bit more closely, 8 times 3 is 24. What do we need to divide by to get back to 8? 24 divided by 3 is 8. I would like you to try C, D, E, and F. All right, question 2. Write the operation that makes the equation true. All right, so last time we were solving for the final number. Now we're going to determine which operation will make this equation true. Let's try 2A. 7 plus 2, mystery operation, 2 equals 7. So again, you will notice that the first number and the last number are the same. 7 plus 2, something, 2 equals 7. So if we start with 2 and, start with 7 and end with 7, let's see, if we add 2, we must subtract 2 to get back to 7. Let's see if I'm right. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. So the operation that we're missing is subtraction or minus. 8 times 3, missing operation, 3 equals 8. So 8 times 3 we know is 24. What do we need to do to 24 to get back to 8? Well, we need to do the inverse of multiplication. Remember, multiplication and division are inverses. So if we multiply by 3, we must divide by 3 to get back to the number 8. I would like you to try C, D, E, and F. All right, question 3 is a big one. Let's start by crossing off the last column, C, F, I, L, and O. All right, the first one is done for us. You'll notice these questions are following the same pattern. The first number and the final number are the same. 17 plus 3, fill in the blank, will get us back to 17, or will equal 17. 17 plus 3 is 20. What do we need to do to get back to 17? That's right, we must subtract 3. Notice this is the inverse of adding 3. We must do the opposite if we would like to get back to the same number. Let's try B together. 20 divided by 4. Now, even if you're not sure what 20 divided by 4 is right away, let's just think about this part right here, divided by 4. What is the inverse or the opposite of divided by 4? That's right. The opposite or inverse of divide is to multiply. So we must multiply by 4 to get back to 20. Let's check my work. 20 divided by 4 times 4 equals 20. Is that correct? 20 divided by 4 is 5, and 5 times 4 equals 20. That is correct. I would like you to try the rest of the questions with the exception of the last column. All right, continuing on page 77. The box at the top is a good reminder, and I encourage you to read through this. I'm just going to read the first line for you. It says, the variable x represents a number, so you can treat it like a number. So, this question is asking us, how can you show these words as a combination of numbers and letters? Multiply x by 7. One way you can write that is by writing the 7 directly next to the x, 7x. Remember, that is one way to show multiplication. Let's look at B. Add 4 to x. The way this is worded, this tells me that x will be first. Add 4 to x. I'm going to start with x and add 4. How would I write C? Subtract 5 from x. So from x tells me that x was there first, and now we are going to subtract 5. Let's try one more together. I would like to try E. Divide x by 10. I'm going to write this down here where I have a little bit more room. There are a couple of ways we could write this. We could write x divided by 10, or remember there's another way to write division. We could write x with a line and 10 underneath. Both of these mean the same thing. Divide x by 10. I would like you to try the rest of these by yourself. D, F, G, H, and go ahead and try the bonus. All right, on page 77, let's go ahead with this question number 5. How could you undo the operation and get back to the number you started with? So what is it essentially asking? How can we undo the operation? That's another way of saying, what is the inverse of that operation? So 5a is done for us. If we add 4, the way that we can undo that or do the inverse would be to subtract 4. If we multiplied by 3, if we would like to undo that, we need to divide by 3. If we subtract 9, the inverse would be to add 9. Please try the rest of these by yourself. All right, question 6 is on page 78, and it says, solve for x by doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. Check your answer. Remember, this is very important, especially this part of the sentence. Do the same thing to both sides. Remember our scale. If we want to keep it balanced or equal, we need to do the same thing. So for example, if I add 2 to this side, my scale would be unbalanced. It would look like this if I didn't do anything to the other side. To keep my scale balanced, I must also add 2 to the other side. I'd like you to read A and B by yourself. We're going to try C together. X minus 4 equals 20. Remember, our goal is to get x by itself. That means we need to undo minus 4. So x minus 4. How are we going to undo minus 4? Well, the inverse of subtraction is addition, so let's add 4. If we add 4 to this side of the equation, we must add 4 to the other side. Sorry, my scale got in the way of this question. If we have taken away 4 and we add 4, remember that those cancel each other out, and we're left only with x on this side of the equation. On the other side, we have 20 plus 4. That equals 24. X equals 24. That is step 1, but step 2 is always to check your answer. If I go back to my original question, sorry, it's getting a little bit messy, I'm going to replace x with 24. So 24 minus 4 equals 20. Is that true? It certainly is. Please try D, E, and F on your own. If you feel like you would like a little additional practice, I encourage you, to give these questions a try. Remember the notebook questions, there is no space in your Jump Math book to solve these, but you can solve these on another piece of paper. All right, lastly, let's look at number 7. The gray box, again, always shows you an example of how to do this question. On second thought, I think we are going to save these types of questions for another day. So I would like you to cross out question 7. So that is all parts A through I. If you're feeling very eager, go ahead and give them a try. Otherwise, you may skip question 7. Before we conclude, I'd just like to review the learning target for today. I can undo an operation to solve for a variable. I hope everyone is feeling very confident in their ability to do this. Remember, we undo operations by applying the inverse. So addition can cancel subtraction. Subtraction will cancel addition. Multiplication will cancel division, and vice versa. All right, have fun in your Jump Math book.